Well, hey, look who's here. Doggone. We must be doing something right today, living good. Welcome back, kiddos. It's I, Grandpa Peter Coyote, talking to you again today. Coming to you once again from this little hick town called Crestone, Colorado, which is, of course, in the United States of America, somewhere very close to your heart. It's really a pretty neat place to be, and we really love being here. And kind of suspect there may be a for real intergalactic gathering here soon, as well as many other places across the earth. Now, there's been some deception devised in some circles to make it look like, well, that we're under control of certain beings that have gifts and abilities beyond our powers and our technologies and so forth. And many people have been led to believe that, and these are people in positions of high power. Yeah, well, at least as far as the earth goes, you know. Political leaders and financial people and religious leaders and so forth, those that pretty much operate behind the scenes and those that represent the visible pinnacles of power. But they've been deceived, and greatly so. And all that they've been and done under this program they've initiated because of the deception that was played on them is coming undone now. You don't see much of this in the foreground. It's going on in the background, but it's just dissolving away. It's coming undone. Because we're going to find ourselves in a new place of being here pretty soon, and we're going to understand things in a whole lot different way than we ever have before. I mean, there is no way living in this world that we can comprehend what's really going on. We can get close, but the mind is pretty limited, while the heart is very open and can receive of it all. It's just next to impossible for it to be revealed into this mind. So let's say we have some conscious mind expansion along with this, so that we can assume our presence of being and no longer appear to be as slaves to anything or anyone, or to have to worship any deity of any sort. You know, to be alive enough in ourselves that we know the essence of God lives in us, or whatever it is, source as I call it, the eternal divine mother and father joined in harmony inside of our poetic being, man. I mean, you don't need beliefs, you don't need practices. It just comes. You just awaken to it. And it will happen rather suddenly. Just one morning here in the not-so-distant future, you'll wake up, and that'll be your state of being. And it comes into presence because there are human beings right now here on this earth that are being assembled and collected and refined, in a sense, inside of their spiritual heart to become again as they are in the distant past and the great future, which is right now. In other words, to assume the position of leadership and power that they truly hold. This has nothing to do with political operations or governments. They'll be dissolving away now. In about time, too. This, as a part of the conscious experience of conscious expansion, just simply comes into being. We recognize these beings as who they are. They know us. And we see that we're in it together, and we're more than willing to work with them. It's just a state of great happiness. A charm exists between us all that didn't seem to be there before. But you know, we won't even notice that absence of the past. It'll be finished with. Remember the pain and the conflict we've talked about inside? Coming to a rapid conclusion in the here and now. So there's nothing more to worry about. Now you can help it along by being as open as you please and still continuing to experience your life to the fullest, to allow yourself to feel as much as you can take and then some, and to revel in that feeling. Not in a gaudy sort of way, but in a way that just makes you feel happy and strong. You see how much you've been willing to endure, how much you've received because of your endurance. You see the great love, the great wealth in your own life, whether you live in poverty or at the highest pinnacles of power. It doesn't really matter. Wherever you are on that chain, you're wealthy as can be. And all it takes is a little appreciation. But even this form of division is about to dissolve away. I'm talking about rich, poor, and all the little divisions we've created here in society to make ourselves into little pigeonholes in places, even tribes, and hide out in the woods and be a family. All that kind of stuff dissolving away. Its replacement is being developed right now, but it's a worldwide sort of thing. And it's about 3.5 months now that we step right into this, and it could come a little sooner, depending on how things operate here. But I'm here to tell you, the journey of your heart is about to be rewarded in a very large way. That none of you are left out. I don't care if you're sitting in prison or sitting in front of a television, which is an even bigger prison, or living on the streets, or hanging it high in Hawaii. I mean, whatever you're doing, it's for you too. No one's left out. This sense of division, is a thing of the past. Everyone's ready or no one's ready. That's just simply how it works. We're all in this together. Now there's many illusions being practiced here, and yeah, it's a good thing to try and see through them. But you ain't going to be able to do all of that until we're already here. So don't even concern yourself with it. See what you see. Enjoy it. When you see through that one illusion, hey, be happy with that, man. No, there's more on the way. I mean, we're all going through some fairly intense times now. But if you just relax, rock into that place of being, dance inside yourself, then dance physically, get some music going on, lighten up, get yourself charged and recharged, tune in meditative sort of ways, especially in dance and music. These are things that lead the way. They may not appear this way. They may seem to have the opposite effect on many. That's part of the illusion, I'm sorry. Music is key here. Music rocks. It's part of the divine awakening. Much of it is channeled and designed to come forward at just the right time. Yeah, and you know me, I'm kind of into the 60s and 70s, and some of the 80s, even 90s, but especially 60s and 70s rock, there's some messages, some meaning. And I'm not even talking about the words and the emotion you feel when you're enjoying that music. It's the way it causes you to dance. It activates genes within your body that changes the way that you are, the way that you present yourself, the way you see yourself. The changes are kind of subtle at first. We've been through a lot of that subtlety already. So what comes now is a bit more visible and a bit more obvious. And I'm here to tell you, again, I don't care how miserable you are or what your problems may be. You're about to step away from them in a very big way. It's just simply the way it is. You've chosen this time to be. You've chosen to be in it in the way that you are now. So that the change as it comes is that much more refreshing for you. And I got to tell you, divine ones out there, those that already know the presence, it's time to come home. Of course, you've been hearing that already, but now you hear it clear. And you know what that means. I don't have to say. You know, we're reassembling the framework now. It's all getting restructured. You know, it's coming in a very Coyote way, man. It's very twisted in the way we're doing this, but it's a beautiful thing just the same. But it's the element of surprise that we worship so greatly. Doggone it, as human beings, we can't help ourselves. That's what we do, and that's what we're here doing. And God, guys, we love you. And when I say we, I'm speaking for myself, my dog Angel, the divine presences in the universe that are right there inside of you, as well as those that seem to live beyond you. Speaking for all. So in a way, I'm telling you, you don't even have to worship yourself. You already are inside. That appreciation you feel, that love, that warmth, that forgiveness you feel for yourself, that's you letting go of it all and becoming much less of a heartache until it just goes away. And then you begin to understand what a heart is. Until this time, you couldn't do it. Darn few have ever seen through it. It hasn't been allowed. Just a few. Couple here and there. Because we had to keep the energy flowing. But you know, you hear a lot of stories about inner earth and stuff. Well, what that represents is a group of beings that have simply held it together for us while we went through our tragic experience here in what we call the 3D. And there was a bunch of them, you see, and their energy's really strong. And that's where I see them being like inner earth, but, you know, they're there in your heart. That's where they truthfully exist, as do you with they. There is no separation. But honestly, as we went through this idea and deception of separation, we began to get it back together. It was just an experience we'd chosen. We had to know how this feels. We had to experience every dynamic of it. Do you know how many of you that are in chains right now are volunteers in service to all of humanity? Because most of us just couldn't take that kind of pain, and there you are doing it, and not only doing it and struggling through it, but winning. They can't keep you down. They have to kill you to shut you up. Your energy lives forever. You know, you've done a very noble thing there. So I'm speaking to you specifically who are experiencing imprisonment and torture right now. Just understand the nature of your being and why it would choose to suffer. So you'll find a lot more appreciation for where you are and begin to understand what this is all about. And you'll be ready when those doors swing open for you. The walls dissolve away. There is no prison, really. And no guards either. And no prisoners. And I'm speaking both in a cosmic sense and in a literal sense here in the 3D. These things simply do not exist. They're illusions we've allowed to come into being so that we could live through them. And we had to give them the essence of our reality. So we had to go into them and forget who we are and learn these strange practices through them, inhabit all these experiences, such as being prisoners and warriors and mothers and fathers and all this kind of stuff, you know, and go through the whole gamut. And we kind of invented a lot of the game as we went along, you know. It was dictated by our heart, what experiences it needed. And it kept creating new opportunities for itself. So it kind of lagged on for an extra couple thousand years here. But in cosmic time, that's nothing. We don't really feel it. It feels like we feel it, but we don't. We're already gone past that. So babies, open up and remember at least a little bit of it. I'll be here telling you some stories of how we've gotten here, because I think it's time now to deal with a little bit of that past and let you know what it's truthfully all about, to show you beyond the illusions, to remind you of what's truthfully there. So we'll be covering elements of it as we go along here. I'll probably do a whole nother series and maybe talk to a few other folks. It's difficult to get many on this level, but there's more coming, so perhaps we'll have the opportunity to do it real soon. It's important that we bring people here that can not only relate and understand, but convey to you that understanding much in the way that I do. And that's who we want as guests here on this little YouTube program, which will evolve into something else. I think we'll call it Party Central or Party Time. So people will generally get the idea right away. There's not too much to be serious about here. There is much to let go of through your understanding of the humble appreciation within your heart. Can you dig it? God, I certainly can. You know, today I was talking to a friend, and she's a very beautiful soul, and she's been through many difficult trials. And we were talking about those very trials, and there's some healing work being done for this person today. But we conveyed that idea through the terms of a joke. Now I hope you'll understand it. And perhaps you'll start to catch on to the Koyote way this thing works. So, I said, hun, you see, not only are we going to grow you new organs, we're going to help you grow a really nice set of boobs. I mean, you got great ones already, but really nice boobs, so that your radiance can be more appreciated here. Now, I don't know how many are going to get that or understand it, but it means something to you today, this little metaphorical joke. That's the Koyote way. That's the way of creation. That's the way we've chosen. That's why Earth has given us this name, Koyote, to remind us of how much we've been tricking ourselves and how much we've enjoyed this little party called life. Rock and roll, kiddos. There'll be more real soon. I love you. Got to get to work now. Go pretend I know what I'm doing out there on America's highways and byways. And if you see me coming, step aside, because I'm a crazy driver. You know, I'm not going to be doing this much longer. I'm going to get myself back in the kitchen. No, I'm not. I'm going to go sit on a... mountain beach. Where should I go, guys, to wait this little bit out? Maybe I'll stay right here and have a great time with you guys. Travel a little bit, too. Got to go up to Oregon pretty soon, see some folks there. So, any of you interested in seeing or talking to me, let me know. Message me somewhere. I don't do too much on YouTube messages and so forth. I really got my hands full over on Facebook, and I can barely keep up with that. So if I'm not acknowledging you or getting back to you, just know that I've heard you, I hear you. Eventually I do read everything that comes in. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate your heart and soul, and the messages I send out are here in these videos, and that's what you're here to receive. So we'll kind of keep it at that level for a while. If it needs to change, well, so be it, but for now that's where it is. Again, we love you guys. And Angel says howdy too. She's over there on the sofa dreaming away, so like a good angel should, man. That's what they do. So rock and roll. It's in your soul. Now in your heart is that new start.